Before we get started, if you can have a cushion or something to prop yourself up at certain times during the session, just make it a little bit safer. And also set yourself up so you've got plenty of room around you. We're going to be having our arms out, legs spread, I was going to say, legs reaching out. So you just want plenty of room for all your limbs around you. I was talking about the cushion for health and safety purposes, but really this session, because I can't see you, I can't monitor you, I really want you to think about monitoring yourself. So keep yourself safe. Only take yourself to a level that you feel comfortable. I'm going to do the exercises, start with the basics, and then layer them up so it can get harder and harder. And you just take it to the level that works for you. So today you might feel, if you've done Pilates before, you might feel you're not doing as much as you have in the past, or if you've had a break from it, or if you've not done it before. Just take it to where feels good for you. So pop your cushion aside for a moment and let's get started. We're going to lie down on our backs, feet flat on the floor. Have your feet about hip distance apart and parallel. Lying down, just settling in, trying to feel symmetrical, long through your spine, just letting your arms rest down by your side, and start taking some deep breaths. Breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. So if any of you watched Tracy's session this morning, she did a really nice explanation of how we use our breathing when we're doing Pilates. I'm going to recap some of that. I'm going to breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth with pursed lips as if you're blowing out a candle. And then I want you to think about trying to keep your belly in. Try and pull it in slightly, engage the muscles of your belly, and then see if you can breathe into your ribs. So rather than your belly, you're going to breathe into your ribs. As you inhale and exhale, squeeze the air out of your ribs. And then start thinking, can you breathe in not just to the front of your ribs, but can you also breathe into the sides of your ribs and the back of your ribs? As you breathe in and exhale, squeezing it all out again. So if you think about it visually, you think about expanding your ribs, then exhale, knitting them together is a way of describing it. Inhale, expanding every way, and exhale, knit them together. Another description is, if it helps you visualize things, is thinking of an accordion, expanding and then contracting. One more. Inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth. And I want you to add on, so we're going to roll the hips. So the position you've probably come into is a natural, what we call the neutral position with your hips, where they're parallel to the floor, a gentle arc in the back of your lower back. As you exhale, I want you to think about tilting the pelvis towards you. And then as you inhale, roll back to that neutral. Exhale, tilt the pelvis towards you. Inhale, neutral. Exhale into what we call the imprints. So your hips shouldn't be leaving the ground. You're just tilting the pelvis. The pubic bone goes slightly up towards the ceiling and the hip bones push down towards the ground slightly. So inhale, they should be flat, and exhale into that tilted position. Then I want you to think about what muscles do you use to do that move, to tilt that pelvis. You might find you're pushing down into your feet, you're squeezing your legs to your hips and your shoulders. Try and turn all those muscles off and just use your oblique muscles. So if I just roll up here, I want you to try and just use those muscles, your oblique muscles in your stomach, Exhale to imprint the pelvis and inhale, roll back to neutral. Exhale to imprint, inhale to neutral. One more like that. And then roll into that neutral. You're going to keep that neutral, flat, natural position as you curl your head, neck and shoulders up and reach your hands down past your hips. Just check. Quite often as you curl up, you go into that imprint, you tilt the pelvis. So try and come back into that flat pelvis as you curled up and keep that flat pelvis, that neutral, as you lower back down. And I'm going to do a few more of those. So exhale to curl up and inhale to lower back down. And this next one, we're going to curl up and hold that position. From there, going to do like a slapping action down by your sides, as if you're surrounded by shallow water and you're slapping and making as much of a splash as you can down by your sides. And you're going to inhale for 5 beats and then exhale for 5 beats. So inhale, exhale, and carry on like that. If at any point your neck gets strained, just pop your head back down. If you want more of a challenge, you can bring your legs up into what we call tabletop, this position here, like the legs on the top of the table. If you want more challenge still, you can stretch the legs out long. But what you're looking for is to not let your back arch up off the floor. Whatever leg position you've gone for, you want to keep that neutral in your spine as you inhale for 5 and exhale for 5. And then pause, hold that position, hook the knees into your chest, see if you can curl up a little bit higher, and then lower your head back down to the ground. Just have a hug of your knees. Try and relax your shoulders and your neck. Just have a quick breather. And then whichever way you want, you're going to come up to seated. So I recommend roll on your side and come to sit up. Have your feet flat on the floor. And then from there, take your arms straight out in front of you. You're going to tuck your tailbone under and round your back. So we call this a C-shaped curve. So you're trying to make yourself into a C from your hips, curling all the way up to the crown of your head. And you're going to dive that shape forward and then restack the spine back up to sitting up tall. Tuck the tailbone under, around the pelvis, the lower back, the upper back, and the neck. And dive that shape forward and restack to sit up tall. If you want to make it a little bit more challenge, you can stretch the legs out long. Flex the feet towards you, reach long through the heels, same thing, tuck the spine under, tuck the hips under, sorry, roll back, dive that shape forward, and restack back up. And again, round back, and dive forward. So if you want more challenge, you can start trying to go a little bit further back as you round back before you dive forward and restack up. The aim of the game, I'll shuffle forward a bit, the aim of the game is to get all the way down to the ground. But don't forget, gravity is helping you down. It's harder to get back up. So you want to be able to get back up smoothly as possible. So only go down as far as you know you can get back up again. Quite often people think, oh yeah, I'm going down, I've got this. And then when they're coming back up, and they have a sticking point about here, and they have to launch themselves through it to get back up. So see if you can find that point and just work to where your sticking point is. You might find you get the shakes if you're hanging out there. Dive forward, restack back up. One more like this, as low as you want to go, and then restack all the way back up. Whatever level you've been going to, I want you to now straighten your legs and see if you can go all the way down to the ground. So we're going to go back to lying down. From there, bending the legs. I'm going to take your hands into, you stay on the ground, just going to take your hands into that position so your thumbs and your fingers form a triangle. Lying on the ground, you're going to lift your hips off the ground and take that triangle shape and just put it under the base of your spine. And that's just going to help protect your back. As you bring your legs up into the air, just going to cross the lower legs. Then on your exhale, you're going to bring your legs towards you. And then inhale, release. Exhale. So it could just be a tucking action, and you're pulling your stomach in as you exhale and tuck. If you want to make it a bit more advanced, you can start trying to tuck so that your hips lift off your hands. But try and not use momentum to flick you up. The slower you do it, the more benefit you get out of working your lower abdominal muscles as you go. So momentum can help flick your legs over. The slower you go, the more you're using your stomach to control the movement of your legs going over and control lowering them back down. One more like that. And then rest your feet down on the ground. Arms resting down by your sides. Just let your legs flop from side to side. Just release the lower back and any tension. And then come back so that your knees are pointing up towards the ceiling again. Bring one leg up into that tabletop position again. And from there, you're going to draw circles with your knee. You're going to inhale for half a circle. Then exhale for the other half a circle. So inhale to go away and exhale to come back to that tabletop position. Inhale away, exhale back. So the challenge now is to keep your body as still as possible. Your body's going to want to rock after that leg. Your hip's going to try and pull the whole spine and torso with it. So you want to be working your ball and socket joint, keeping everything else still, your legs, the only bit that's turning that circle. Change direction with your circle. And if you want to make it a bit more challenging, you can straighten both legs. Same thing, draw in a circle, inhale for half a circle, exhale for the other half. So if you've got any hip issues, you want to keep your circles nice and small. If you want more of a challenge, you can take your circles bigger, but the straight legs and the bigger circles means more of a lever, so your hips are going to want to roll after that leg. So again, it's more challenging to keep the body still as you circle. Bend that leg, bend the other leg, pop it down on the floor, come to the other leg. So again, we'll start with just bent legs as you draw circles with that knee, just to assess your body and think, do I want to challenge myself a little bit more? Do I want to go for that straight leg option? Circling, inhale for half, exhale for half. Or do I find on this side, I think I'll stay with bent legs today. Just feel your hips. If you have dodgy hips or have had any operation on your hips or anything, you might want to stick to small circles. If you want more of a challenge, you can go to big circles. Switch direction with those circles. Again, keeping everything as still as possible. One last one. And then bring that knee in, give it a hug, and give the other knee a hug too. Have a little rest there. You can even rock from side to side. And then I'm going to curl your head, neck and shoulders up, hugging those knees into you. Extend one leg out to 45 degrees. Keep your body as motionless as possible as you switch the legs over. Extend the other leg out and switch and switch. So the challenge now is just to keep the body still. Make the legs travel in straight lines. So have a watch what your legs are doing. Does the foot want to wander in? Does the knee want to wander in or out? You're going to draw straight lines in and out at hip width apart. So you're trying to hug the knee in towards your cheekbone, but make sure that doesn't make your head start moving, trying to reach your cheekbone towards your knee. One last one each side. And then hug both knees in. See if you can curl up a little bit higher. And then release the head back down to the ground. Release your feet and your arms down to the ground. Take a breath there. Now we're going to inhale and then exhale to float the arms up overhead and then back down. Let's exhale to go overhead. Inhale back down to your sides. So now as the arms go up overhead, your ribs might want to try and reach up towards the ceiling. You're going to try and keep those ribs pulled in. So don't let your back arch up off the floor. The way you're thinking about it is as the arms go up overhead, think about pressing your bra strap, or where your bra strap would be, down into the ground, in case there's any guys watching that haven't got their bras on. You're going to keep that bra strap pressed down into the ground as the arms float up overhead and then lower them back down. So have a think to keep that bra strap area down. Have you now come up with another cheat, which is bending the arms? You want to keep those arms straight. Really keep those elbows straight as you float the arms up and then lower back down. And then another cheat that you want to just assess yourself is have your arms started veering out into a V. So try and brush your arms. If I just sit up so you can see, try and brush your arms down by the side of your face as you float them up and then lower them back down. And then we're going to turn it into circles. So float the arms up and circle them all the way around, out to the sides and then down to your hips. Let's inhale to float up, then exhale round and down. Inhale up, exhale round and down. And you have the option, you can do this if you want more of a challenge up in a curled up position. So same thing with the arms, circling them up, over, round and down, but just check that you're staying in that same curled up position. So you want to avoid, as your arms go up overhead, you want to avoid your head lowering down. Stay as curled up as high as you can as the arms go up, and then stay in that same position as the arms come down. And then if you want more of a challenge, you can add the legs as well. So you want to keep that imprinted position so that pelvis tilted towards you this time as you reach all the limbs away, then circle the arms around and hug your legs in. So feel like you're pressing your lower back gently into the floor as you reach and hug, reach to circle and hug, reach and hug. One last one, reach, circle and hug. Lower the head down, just rock the knees from side to side, have a little breather. Then you're going to come over onto your side again to bring you up to seated. Going to bring your knees to shoulder width apart and your heels together. Just have a gentle hold on your shins. Now you're going to tuck the tailbone under and round yourself up and keep tilting that shape back until you can hover your feet up off the floor. So this next exercise is called roll like a ball. So you're trying to make yourself ball shaped as much as you can. Keep that ball shape as you roll back and back up again. So we're going to go to the mid back as you roll back. You don't want your head to touch down as you roll like a ball. Let's inhale to go back and exhale to come back up. So I want you to try and not let your feet touch the ground as you come up. And things to look out for are make sure that your legs don't start flapping and that your neck doesn't start flapping. So you're trying to keep your eyes pointing straight at your heels. Keep that locked position as you roll back and back up. And if you want to make it a little bit more advanced and you're quite good at Pilates, you can take your arms down between your legs and grab hold of your ankle and turn it into the seal. So that involves 3 claps whilst balancing in this position, and then 3 claps while you pause and balance at the back of the roll. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Let's do one more. And then when you come up, just extend them legs out long. So if you have a yoga mat, you want to take your feet a little bit wider than the width of your yoga mat. Flex your feet sitting up tall. If you find that makes your back round, you find it hard to get that straight neutral spine, you can grab a cushion or two and pop that underneath your hips. And that should help you be able to tilt your pelvis so that you're nice and straight. Take your arms out straight in front of you. You're going to reach super long with your heels, flexing your toes towards you. Reach super long with your fingers, but pull your shoulders back and down. From there, you're going to tuck your head and round yourself forward, reaching towards or past your feet, and then restack to bring your spine all the way to sit up tall. Inhale at the top, exhale to round forward, and let's inhale to come back up. Let's exhale to go down. At the bottom, just check in there, have your shoulders come up by your ears, so you can roll them back and down, keep them back and down as you restack back up. For those that like a visual or a feeling as they're doing it, you can imagine you're sat up against a wall and you're peeling your spine off your imaginary wall, and then you're restacking your spine, working from the bottom, restacking it back up onto that wall. You're trying to place one vertebra at a time back up onto the wall, and then your head's the last thing to place back on. Again, rounding forward, and then restack back up. Pop your cushion aside again, just out of view. Take your feet a little bit wider now, so similar to that rolling like a ball, you're going to take hold of your side of your calves like this. Tuck the tailbone under and round back a little bit, and then see if you can lift your chest whilst lifting one foot off the ground and placing it back down. Can you lift the other foot off, place it back down? As you're going, can you keep your body motionless and just your legs lift and lower? Extra test, see if you can take both legs off and place them back down so everything stays as still as possible. And then if you want more challenge, don't touch down with the feet, they both hover off the ground as you extend one leg and bend it. You can go as straight as you want, you can go all the way to the straight, just go to your level, and then again, so you can do both legs and bring them back down. All hovering now. And then if you want more challenge still, for the open leg rocker, special one for Esther, her favourite move, to as straight as you want. Round that back to roll back and roll back up. Hover and round back and round back up. Again, you don't want your head to touch down. Just think about going to the middle of your back as you roll. This time roll all the way up. Lower the legs down. Bring them together. If you had a cushion before to sit on, bring that back in. Pop that under your bum. Legs together this time. If you need to, if you're struggling to sit up straight, another option actually is to have your legs bent, but if you can, you're going to try and straighten the legs. Flex the feet again, reaching long through the heels. Sitting up tall with your hands to your head. You're going to twist one way as you exhale, then inhale back to centre. Exhale to twist, inhale to centre. Keep those legs squeezed together. And I want you to think, what are your legs doing as you twist? Do they slide past each other? Keep them pinned together, or even if you have a wall, place the soles of your feet against that wall and feel for the pressure. As you twist, don't let those legs slide, because that's another cheat of your hips twisting as well. We're trying to get the twist to come through the spine as you move. Each time you come back centre, try and get taller, straighter, longer through the spine. And then exactly the same thing, but with the arms out at a T. I'm going to add 3 pulses, so 1, 2, 3, and back to centre. Exhale, 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 taller as you come to centre. Exhale, 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 taller. One last one, and then come back to centre. Take your legs a little bit wider. I don't know my anatomy, by the way. Take your legs a little bit wider, still reaching through those heels, pulling the toes towards you, arms back at a T. This time you're going to twist and then add on. So you're going to reach your little toe past, your little finger, past your little toe. And then imagine somebody's pulling you with this back arm to bring you back up. Then untwist and twist the other way. Reach the little finger towards or past the little toe and restack back up, untwist and carry on, alternating sides. Then have a think or have a feel as you reach for the opposite toe. Does your sit bone lift off? Try and keep even weight in both sit bones as you twist for the saw. This is good. Even pressure in both sit bones the whole way through the move. One last one, and then restack back up, lower the arms, pop your cushion aside again. You're going to come onto your fronts if you want to do it Pilates way with cross legged. You're going to take your hands in front, roll onto A4, all fours, take yourself into a long plank, kneeling plank, and then lower yourself down onto the ground. Or get there any which way you want. On your fronts, legs are going to be a little bit wider than hip distance apart, knees slightly turned out just to help your back in this position. Hands are going to be near your armpit, just beside your shoulders. You will have your forehead or nose down on the ground. From there, I just want you to, like we were doing with the pelvis before, feel like you're tucking your tailbone under, pressing your pubic bone down into the ground, and keep it there just to lengthen the lower back out and keep that safer. Inhale, hold that position, and then exhale, you're going to lift up into a back extension, and then inhale, lower back down. Exhale into lift up, inhale into lower. So again, listening to your body. So if it hurts your lower back, you don't even have to lift. You can just think of hovering your nose and getting longer. You just find where works for you. Lifting up, pressing back down through the pubic bone the whole time. And getting a nice stretch down the front of the body. And then have a think, how much weight am I putting in my hands? Can I put less weight into my hands and just lift up and lower back down? You might find you can't go quite as high up without pressing into your hands. And then we're going to add a leg. So as you lift up into that back extension, so you can lift one leg at the same time, not just the lower leg, but try and keep that leg straight and get the knee off the ground and lower back down, alternating legs. Exhale to lift back extension and opposite leg. Inhale to lower down. If you want to make it more of a challenge, you can lift both legs as you come into that back extension and lower back down. Exhale to lift both knees off the ground. Inhale, lower down. So again, just find your limit that doesn't hurt your back, doesn't strain you. Thinking long as you lift. And then next time you lift, see if you can keep the legs up as you lower the body. And then lower the legs as you lift the body. Lower the head as lower the whole upper body as the legs lift. It's kind of a rocking motion. And in fact, this is working towards a move called the swan. One last one. And then push yourself all the way back into what's called child's pose. You'll have learnt in Benita's class. Sitting down on your feet, slide the hands forward, and then just lower the forehead down towards the ground. And just take some deep breaths here. So this is a nice place to practice breathing into the back of your ribs. Trying to really expand the ribs every direction as you breathe in. And then exhale, knitting them all back together. And then inhale, say expanding, really try and feel expansion into the back of your ribs. And then you exhale, try and just let gravity take over. And have a little breather, try and relax your face, relax your shoulders, relax your mind. One more like that. And then you're going to walk your hands in towards you. So you tuck the tailbone under and restack yourself all the way back up to kneeling up. Bring yourself forward again. Lower yourself down onto your mats. And then to do a move called single leg stretch. So again, your feet a little bit wider than hip distance apart for now. You want to have your elbows underneath your shoulders. If that's strain on your back, you can take your elbows further forward. And if it's still a struggle there, you can always pop your head down on your hands, stack your hands in front of you and pop your forehead down on there. Find your level. Now you just want to push your pubic bone down into the ground and then reach your body up towards the ceiling, making yourself as long and straight as you can from your pubic bone to the crown of your head. Have your hands clasped in front of you, but elbows are shoulder width apart. So looking straight down at your hands, from there you're going to kick one heel in towards your bum and then reach it long and away. Opposite leg, the foot kicks in towards your bum and then reaches long away. I'm going to do two on each side, so kick, kick and reach. Opposite side, kick, kick and reach. So the aim is to keep your body as still as possible as you kick, kick and reach. And then you can point the first kick, flex the foot on the second kick and then reach it long. Point, flex, reach and place it down. Point, kick, flex, reach. Point, flex, reach. Point, flex, reach. Get longer through the crown of your head as you move. Push the elbows into the ground. I can't talk and point and flex at the same time. It's complicated. One last one on each side. Point, flex, reach, and then lower yourself and then push back, reaching your bum for your heels, reaching the arms away, sinking the forehead down to the ground and have another quick stretch there. And just try and relax. Some deep breaths. And then bringing yourself all the way back up into all fours again. Lowering yourself down. This time you're going to take your arms down by your side, palms facing up towards the ceiling. Start with your forehead down on the ground. Then from there, tucking that tailbone under again, so tilting that pelvis so that you feel like you're lifting your hip bones away from the ground, or your belly button away from the ground as you push your pubic bone down into the ground. So you want that tilt. Keeping that tilt, pull your shoulders down away from your ears as you hover your chest up off the floor. Inhale at the top, exhale to move back down. Inhale to prepare, shoulders down. Exhale to lift up. Inhale to hold, reach longer, and exhale to lower back down. Exhale, hold. Sorry, exhale, lower. Inhale, shoulders down. Inhale, shoulders down. Exhale to lift. Inhale to hold. Exhale to lower back down. I'm going to do exactly the same move, but with your hands clasped by behind your lower back. As you lift up, exhale and reach your arms down towards your feet, keeping the arms clasped. Then as you inhale to lower back down, bend the elbows, rest the hands in your lower back again. Exhale to lift up. Inhale to lower down. Now I'm going to add on from there. So every time your head comes down, it's going to alternate which way you twist it, like I am now on my left cheek. And then I'm going to kick my feet in towards my bum 3 times. Then reach the legs long, hovering them off the ground as I lift up into that dart shape. And then lower down, facing the other direction, opposite cheek down on the ground. I'll turn this way just so it's easier to hear me. And then 3 kicks, 1, 2, 3, then lift up into that dart position, legs reaching long, hovered off the ground, arms reaching long down behind you, then lower down, facing the other direction, arms bend, hands in the back of your lower back, and the arch of your lower back, 3 kicks, 1, 2, 3, lift up, reach, think longer through the crown of your head, bend the arms, kick 3 times, 1, 2, 3, lift up, reach like Superman, lower down, one last one, 3 kicks, 2, 3, then lift up, reach, and then lower back down. Push yourself back into that child's pose again. This time take the knees a bit wider, so the width of the mat, big toes together. Slide the hands away, sink the forehead down. Some deep breaths. And then walk the hands in as you restack your spine all the way up to sitting up tall again. Walk your hands forward into that kneeling plank position. Lower yourself down into lying down on your front. Reach your arms forward. So you're going to make yourself star shaped. Your hands are going to be just slightly wider than your mat. Your feet are going to be slightly wider than your mat. And then if you want more of a challenge, for those of you that know the move called swimming, you can take yourself narrower. But for now, we're going to be about the width of our mat with our limbs. From there, inhale, pull your shoulders down away from your ears, and then come up into that back extension. And then lower back down. Inhale, roll the shoulders down. Exhale to lift, and we're just going to stay in that position now. Shoulders down away from your ears, pressing your pubic bone down, pulling the belly button up away from the ground. We're going to hover both legs off the ground, so knees as well. Keeping the legs long and straight. Going to lift one as you lower the other. And then you're going to speed it up. So to start with, you can just go slow motion. One leg lifts, one leg lowers. Trying to keep both knees off the ground the whole time, and trying to keep your body as still as possible. Still pulling that belly button away from the ground, shoulders are still down away from your ears, and then collapse back down onto the ground. Not collapse, slowly lower yourself gracefully down back onto the ground. Have a deep breath there. Again, lifting up into that back extension, hands still on the ground, legs lift, hover off the ground. They don't touch down as they reach long. One goes up, one goes down, opposite way, and then speed it up into that swimming action. Going to inhale for 5 beats, and then exhale for 5 beats. Inhale, 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 exhale. Shoulders down, belly button pulled away from the ground, and then stop, pause, reach longer, and lower back down. One last set, lifting up. If you want more of a challenge, you can hover the arms as well. So opposite arm and leg lift and then switch. Whichever option you've gone for, speed it up. Make it 5 beats to inhale and 5 beats to exhale. Shoulders down, pubic bone down, belly button pulled up, eyes looking down, and then lower everything down. Push yourself back into that child's pose and have another quick breather. This time a little bit more active in your child's pose. I want you to round your back, pulling your belly away from your thighs. And take some deep breaths there. And then walk your hands in, restack yourself all the way back up to sitting tall. So we're going to come to sitting on our mats. If you want to do it the Pilates way, shuffle yourself forward, cross your lower legs, and then sit your bum back over to bring yourself into that seated position. Have a hold of your legs, pin them together, and slowly lower yourself down just to the point where your tips of your shoulder blades, the bottoms of your shoulder blades, are touching down. From there, straighten the legs up towards the ceiling. You're going to let go of one leg and let it lower, and then bring it back up. Let's exhale to lower, inhale back up. So again, the aim is to keep your body as still as possible as your legs move. One last one each side. And then bend the knees in, give them a hug, see if you can curl up higher. Lower the head back down, lower the feet back down. Grab hold of that cushion again. Lift your hips up off the ground and slide that cushion underneath your bum. Arms down by your side. You're going to take one leg to tabletop and then bring the other leg to tabletop. Take both legs, those legs straight up towards the ceiling. Then you're going to split them like a scissors action. One leg goes forward, one goes back. Bend the back leg and then switch positions. So the bent one comes forward, the straight one goes back. Then straighten the leg. Back one bends, switch. Front one straightens, back one bends, switch. Then see if you can move a little bit faster. So one bends as the other one straightens and switch. And then reverse for the bicycle. And then you can move it into a more flowing action, but really reaching long through the leg that reaches away as you go. Then as you're watching your legs, do your knees start trying to veer out? You're going to try and keep hip distance apart the whole way through the move. Hook the knees into your chest, let go of one leg, take it straight up towards the ceiling, and then just let it lower and have a little stretch there. And let it just hang. Try and turn off your muscles. Just If you're a runner or you have tight hip flexors from other exercises, sometimes this is quite nice to stretch the front of your hips out. Bring that leg back in, give it a hug, take the other leg up towards the ceiling, and then lower that straight leg down. And then just let it flop, bend, hang, whatever it wants to do. Let it have its stretch down the front of the hips. And then bring it in. You're going to put that foot on the floor flat, lower the other foot to meet it, lift the hips and take that cushion out. From there, similar to what we were doing earlier with the hips, you're possibly in that neutral position now, so that flat position. As you exhale, we're going to tilt the hips towards you. So inhale to neutral, exhale to that tilted position. And then I'm going to add on to that. So keeping your knees at hip distance apart, you're going to imprint as you exhale, tilting the hips, and then lift the hips up into what we call the shoulder bridge. Inhale at the top, and exhale, lower the spine down back onto the ground. Inhale to roll to neutral, exhale to imprint, and then peel the spine up. Inhale at the top, exhale reverse. Trying to place one vertebra at a time back down onto the ground. One last one. Peeling up. Inhale to hold. Exhale, lengthening the spine back down onto the floor as you lower back down. Bring the knees in. Have your hands just in the crook underneath your knees. From there, as you exhale, you're going to extend the legs as you curl your head, neck and shoulders up, and then inhale to lower back down. Pulling your belly in as you exhale, inhale back down. If you want to take it a little bit further, you can lift up into that inverted V and then lower yourself back down. Slow and controlled to come up and lower back down. One last one. And then come over onto your sides. Just going to spin round. So you're going to line yourself up, lying on your side so that your spine's in line with the back of your mat. Or if you haven't got a mat, then a nice straight thing to compare yourself to, a local wall. So just imagine you've got a wall behind you. Have your shoulders stacked, one directly on top of the other. Have your arm bent to rest your head on. Top hand just resting gently on the floor. Have your feet in line with the back of your mat or your imaginary wall. Actually, no, let's take the legs long, sorry. Hinge them forward, so your spine's straight, and just from the hips, your legs go forward at an angle. Lift the top leg to hip height, and you're going to bring it forward without moving your spine. So don't let the spine round as the leg comes forward. Think about staying straight, and same, as the leg goes back, don't let the stomach reach forward. You're going to keep that spine dead straight as your leg swings forward and back at hip height the whole time. I'm going to have the foot flexed as it comes forward and then point it to swing it back. Flex to come forward, point back. Inhale forward, exhale back. So again, it's just about keeping your body as motionless as possible. One last one. And then come to the other side. Same thing, your spine's nice and straight. Your top arms bent to support your head. Fingers on the ground in front of you, not too much weight there. Spine straight, legs straight, and then hinge them forward. Lift that top leg to hip height. Flex to come forward, point to go back. So what you're looking out for is as your leg goes back, don't let that top hip roll after it, or this lower leg lift off the ground. Keep them stacked. Flex forward. Trying to have as little weight in your hand as possible. Don't try and take the weight of your body. One last one. And then come to rest. Come round onto all fours. From there, hands directly underneath your shoulders. Knees are directly underneath your hips. Feet are hip distance apart and pointing away from you. From there, check that you're not overextending your elbows. Just keep the arms nice and straight. Even weight throughout your hands. Thinking as long and straight through your spine as you can, from the crown of your head to your tailbone. From there, you're going to take one leg out and then bring it back in. 3 on one side. And then switch sides. So as you move, you want to keep your body as still as possible, especially when you're switching legs. That's the time when your body will want to rock from side to side. So keeping everything as still as possible. We quite often say, imagine you're balancing a tray of drinks on your back. You don't want to spill a single drop as you move. If you want to take it a little bit harder, you can start in plank and lift one leg and lower it 3 times. Shoulders away from your ears. And then keep going, whichever option you've gone for. One last one. And then bring yourself down onto your fronts. Forehead down on the ground. Feet together now, knees squeezed together. You're going to try and grab hold of one foot. If that involves a little side bend or your knees coming out, you're going to get back into that position. Once you've grabbed your foot, back into that position with your knees together and your spine straight. And just hang out there. That might be a stretch, enough as it is. And even if that's too tight, you can grab a towel or some material to hook round your foot and hold it from further away, and just get that stretch down the front of your hip, or the front of your thigh. If you want a little bit more challenge, you can start pressing your weights into your hand, so pushing your foot into your hand. Just check, can you push your pubic bone down into the ground more? So keep that pubic bone pressed down. If you want to add a little bit more, you can lift up into a back extension, pushing the leg away into your hand again. Inhale to lower down, exhale to lift up. One last one on this side, and then lower, release the foot. Same thing on the other side. If it involves a side bend or some sort of weird movement, to grab hold of that foot. Once you've got it, double check that your knees are together or as close as possible and your spine is straight. Again, you can, option 1, just hang out here, just get that stretch. Option 2, push the hand into the foot. Push the foot into the hand. Option 3, hover the knee off the ground as you lift up into a back extension. Whatever you've gone for, whichever level you've gone for, think about pushing your pubic bone down into the ground. And if you want more of a challenge, you can go for both feet. So both at the same time as you exhale, push the pubic bone down, keep it pushed down. Option to hover and lift up into a back extension. One last one, and then come, release your legs, forehead back down, push yourself back into that child's pose, have another quick stretch there. Some more deep breaths. This time you can take your hands, reach for your feet, and just let your shoulders relax. And then place your hands by knees to push yourself so that you can restack all the way back up to sitting. Come bring yourself into a plank position. So just make sure that your hips aren't sagging down towards the ground. You want to be as straight as you can from your shoulders to your heels. And then from there, lifting your bum up towards the ceiling into that down dog or pike position. You're trying to make yourself a straight line now from your tailbone to your hands. So try not let your shoulders be forward. Almost feel like you're reaching your chest towards the ground between your feet and your hands. And then come forward again into that plank position. And then back into that plank. And then forward into plank. And then back into plank. From here, bring one knee forward as you lower your hips. Let the knee come down to the ground below you. Let the foot swing out. I'll swizzle around so you can see me. Let the foot swing across your body. Point the back toes and slide that leg back behind you. Lowering the hips down towards the ground. Just check have your hips rolled over to the side. Try and keep them level as you take your hips as low as is comfortable for you. And then lower yourself down onto your elbows if you want. And just take some deep breaths there. And then place the hands back down on the ground. Tuck the toes under. Push yourself back up into that plank position. And then march the heels. One leg bends as the other straightens. Get stretched down the back of your legs. And then come forward again, bringing the opposite knee underneath you, swinging the opposite foot across. Slide the back leg back, pointing the toes. Again, hips stay level. Option to go down onto your elbows. Take some deep breaths there. Place your hands back down, tuck the back toes under, push yourself back up into that down dog position. Some deep breaths there. Let the head hang heavy, shake it from side to side. Just release any tension in your neck. And then soften the knees, walk the hands back in towards the feet. And just hang there upside down for a bit. Soft bend in your knees. Let's cross the arms. And again, let the head shake from side to side. Nod it, just release. And let the arms dangle again. Tuck the tailbone under and restack your spine. All the way, standing up. Nice and tall. Roll the shoulders back. Release any tension in your shoulders. And give yourself a pat on the back because you have just done a lovely classical Pilates session.